Hi everyone! And today I am very delighted to announce the launch of Mu Vlogs, a new series under the Mu Sigma Phi Sorority webinars. And with this, I welcome you all, pati yung mga nanonood sa atin today, to our series entitled Adulting 101, a Gen Z's Guide to a Life of Worth. Ano nga ba yung worth na dito sa atin? Wellness, opportunities, relationships, transitions, and of course, health. So, some of you or maybe madami talaga sa inyo might be thinking bakit nga ba namin nabuo or naisipan ng idea ng vlogging series na ito. This is because we feel you guys. Kayo guys, we feel you, your struggles, especially during adulting transitions. So kaya wag na kayong mag-alala, mag-relax na lang kayo dyan, kumuha kayo ng pagkain, sit back, relax lang kayo. I am Jo Celoso, and today kasama po natin si Dr. Melissa Caraan Tutiangco, who is a psychiatrist with a strong background in a family life, child development, medicine, and public health management. She has a bachelor's degree in family life and child development and has earned her Doctor of Medicine degree from University of the Philippines, Manila. Katulad ko din po. So her experience includes serving as a rural health physician with Department of Health under yung DTTB or Doctors to the Bar U program, followed by her roles as Medical Officer 3 and 4 at the Philippine General Hospital. Currently, Doc Amel, she practices as general adult psychiatrist in private practice, where she continues her dedication to mental health care. Hi po kayo, ma'am. So we also have here Sir Dominic Dalisay, John Dominic Dalisay, who is a social scientist. Wow! Former university lecturer and past chair of Department of Sociology and Anthropology at the Polytechnic University of the Philippines. So he has consulted for organizations like yung Asian Institute of Management, as well as Department of Education and regional LGUs. And currently, he is the Learning and Development Head at Our Lady of Lourdes Hospital, where he heads or leads leadership programs, talent development, performance management, and employee engagement. And he also holds certifications as a DDI facilitator, learning and development practitioner, OD practitioner, NLP practitioner, and psychological first aider. Sir Dom also advocates for psychological safety in the workplace, which is why bakit nandito may psych tayo and yun, nandito si Sir today. So he recently shared his insights on value-centric, L&D, and leadership at the Build a Future Team 2024 Roundtable in Bali, Indonesia. So grabe, very known talaga ang mga speakers or guests natin today. So again po, hello po tayo sa vlog. Hello. Ayan. So sila ang ating magiging katsikahan for today about mental health in the workplace. So as we grow older, kahit sabihin man natin ayaw talaga nating mangyari yon, we don't have a choice. And we have to start to explore our careers, and kaya dito, curious po talaga ako, how can this impact our mental health being? We'll be starting our first series with AW. Our first episode is about wellness, keeping your cool. So, Doc Melik, pwede mo ba sa aming i-explain ako tungkol sa mga changes po na nangyayari during emerging adulthood, especially kaming mga tayo pala yon lahat, young adults transition into the workforce. So, pwede niyo po bang kami makwentuhan, Doc?
Okay, so Jo, and to our viewers, emerging adulthood is that period between adolescence and adulthood. Na siguro mga around 18 to 25 years old, yun yung mga, I guess yung mga Gen Z natin ngayon sila yon, lalo na yung mga coming into the workforce, yun yung emerging adulthood. And it's all about exploration and also experimentation. Tapos, a lot of the key features of emerging adulthood involves pagiging self-focused, yung seeking the identity of oneself, tapos pag-explore din ng identity na meron tayo, And at the same time, yung may feeling of endless possibilities when you're at that age. Kasi bata ka pa, you have a lot of energy, physically you're very fit, tapos ang dami mo pang ideas na gusto mong explore, kaya parang ang dami pang kailangan or madami pang pwedeng malaman and magawa sa mundo. Tapos, syempre, when we talk about emerging adulthood, we need to talk about developmental shifts. Kasi nga, it's a transition period eh. And when we talk about development, we can siguro classify it as yung physical development, emotional development, and cognitive development. Umpisahan natin sa cognitive development. As adolescents kasi medyo we think in polarities. Tama, mali, maganda, pangit, malaki, maliit. Tapos, habang nasa emerging adulthood ka na, dun ka na nagsisimulang makaintindi na, may gray area pala. So, importante siya kasi once you enter in the workforce, dun mo makikita yung reality of life eh. Na hindi pala lahat ng tama na iniisip natin before ay tama. At hindi lahat ng mali ay mali talaga. Example, I was thinking about an example earlier. Yung cheating ba is such a wrong thing to do. Kasi when you think about cheating, you can also think about copying. And when you're in the workforce, sometimes there's a tendency to copy things. Like, tignan nyo to, mag-external benchmarking tayo, tignan natin yung ginagawa ng iba, tapos gagayahin natin. That's copying. In a sense, is that cheating? And that's where the gray area is. So yung cognitive processes natin, nag-grow na tinatry nating baguhin yung polarities na yun para mas mag-fit doon sa realities of life. Emotionally then, less moody, less yung mood swings ng mga tao in emerging adulthood. And syempre, nandun din yung part na mas manageable na yung mga emotions natin. Pero at the same time, nandun pa rin yung thoughts na ang taas pa rin ng emotions natin every now and then. Which we tend to try to ayusin siguro. Kasi kapag sa workplace, hindi naman tayo pwede maging very emotional. Then lastly, physical. Nandun tayo sa part na alam natin kung paano magiging healthy, but at the same time, medyo hindi rin natin ginagawa. Kasi lalo na kapag nasa workforce ka na, diba, ang tendency is, okay, labas tayo with friends, inom ng alak, party, not the healthiest things to do. Pero we do it nonetheless kasi it's part of emerging adulthood. So, yun yung emerging adulthood. Yun.
Ayan, so thank you, Doc Mel, with your talk. So, medyo natamaan din po ako doon sa mga sinabi nyo na, and I can feel na may mga development po from my decisions ng mga nasa dalaga stage, yung mga high school stage compared now. So, let's proceed now po sa mas exciting part. But I think before that, gusto din namin po marinig yung thoughts or insights niyo po, Sir Doc.
Yes, ako I totally agree with Doc Mel sa ganyang sense. Lalong-lalo na sa ating mga young adults, no? Mm-hmm. That being millennials, kasi pag Gen Z, very young adults. Pero young adults and very young adults. So, I totally agree with Doc. Parang, based on experience, I'm seeing adulthood as parang realm ng mga paradox eh. Tama yung sinabi ni Doc kanina, you know what to do and yet, sometimes hindi mo siya ma-apply. I think part siya ng developmental stage in general eh. Kasi as a person in general, parang I see it as bilang tao nagka-trial and error ka naman talaga sa buhay. So yun, and it goes in different areas sa buhay. Hindi lang syempre sa work, hindi lang syempre sa career, pati sa relationships. So, medyo yung transition na yan, ang malaking difference lang siguro na nakita ko ay sa adulthood, yung repercussions ay totoo. Pag mas bata ka kasi mas kaya mo talagang mag-experiment. Kaya ng sinabi nito, it happens. Pero sa adulthood kasi, sometimes it might cause you a lot of things. Minsan, yung gravity ng cost na yon ay pwede mong bitbitin ng panghabang buhay. So, it's something na pwede mong i-enjoy pero at the same time, proceed with caution siya palagi. So,
wow, grabe naman po. Big words, proceed with caution. Pero totoo po talaga yon. Kasi kapag adulting ka na, great responsibilities po talaga ang nakasalalay sa inyo. Ayun. So thank you so much for that, Sir Dom. At alright, ito na po, magpo-proceed na po tayo sa exciting part, yung mga Q&A questions po. So for our first question, may math po ito. So magsusolve po pala tayo dito. Joke lang. So according po, sabi ng Philippine Statistics Authority, as of August 2024, may estimated na 49 million or about 96% ng employed Filipinos daw po nag-age from 15 to like above 15 years old. And roughly about 588,000 are between 15 to 34 years old po. So marami sa mga kaedaran ko, sa mga manunood dyan, for sure madaming mga nasa ganitong age. And then, we are curious for sure na gusto namin malaman po, saan po ba kami dapat unang mag-look for our employment opportunities? Meron po bang mga websites or meron po bang mga institutions na kailangan naming lapitan, mga gano'n po?
Sige. In that sense, siguro hindi na lang ako magbabanggit ng exact na website kasi hindi naman, kumbaga parang hindi naman to promotional.
Yes,
Pero
po.
yes, I mean, I think these days, it's easier for young adults to get jobs sa online. Unlike us, I think, Dok, inabot mo yung nagtitingin ka pa sa classifieds or ako, inabot ko kasi yun eh. No? So, nagkakalabasan tayo ng edad dito. No? Pero, in between siya. So, may ganun pa, available pa yun for people. Pero at the same time, yung mga early online platform, inabot ko na rin yun. Unlike today na talagang even, for example, there's one social media site na kung saan ilalagay mo yung professional portfolio mo, pero at the same time, pwede ka na ring mag-apply ng trabaho. Employers also use that to get new talents. No? So parang ganon. Compare dati, mas madaling makahanap ng job opportunities ngayon. And at the same time, masyado ng malawak yung market. May mga market na very rigid and formal. Pwede ka rin gumawa ng personal economy mo. Pwede ka mag-remote work. Pwede ka mag-apply as VA kung hindi ka pa sigurado kung anong gusto mong kuning trabaho and things like that. So, mas marami talagang economic opportunities. Although, with a grain of salt, mas mabilis yung economic trends ngayon. That's a different story naman.
Okay po, sir. So, sir, wait lang. Yung sinabi niyo po about economic trends, like, paano, can you expound on that po ba, sir?
Well, kita naman natin na in terms of economic trends, nandyan yung for example, yung emergence ng AI. Ni-utilize na natin yung AI ngayon sa iba't ibang pamamaraan, pero yung larger repercussions niya, may pros and cons siya. Nandyan yung fear na maraming trabaho yung mare-redundate. Siyempre, when it comes to mental health, malaki na naman yung impact niyan. Pero at the same time, na-utilize natin siya sa maraming bagay. Mas madaling mag-research, mas madaling mag-create ng content kasi pwede mo siyang kunin sa AI. And therefore, of course, in the beyond age of information na rin kasi tayo ngayon content is king. Magkakaroon ka ng livelihood with that.
Okay, so ayun. So now we know na marami naman po palang ways kung saan tayo makapaghanap ng trabaho. So it's just a matter of explore and discover and utilize the technology that we have now para mas malaman natin yung strength natin or saan tayo pwedeng mag-apply. So kayo mag-start na din kayo na mag-search dyan sa mga Upwork, sa mga green app, sa mga black app, sa mga blue app nyo dyan. So, it's not just about doom scrolling. Start your career there na din. So, ayun po. Thank you so much for that, Sir Dom. So, for our next question po, parang narinig na siya natin, parang 1 month ago or during yung mga reunion, yung mga during Christmas break po, kung saan yung mga tito at tita natin, mama, or sila usap-usap, yung anak ko, manager na, yung anak ko, doktor na, attorney na, ganon. So, yung iba naman, ng mga fresh grad pa, mga nag-aantay ng tawag sa mga pinag-applyan nila, nasabihin na ikaw, alam mo, basta meron na sa trabaho, okay na yan. So, parang it implies na
as young adults, huwag kayong maging selective or parang picky. Parang ganun po yung connotation or dating sa amin. So, how true is that po na dapat huwag maging selective or maging picky when it comes to their first job? Go.
Sige, titignan ko siya sa perspective. Hindi ko naman siya makita kasi sa perspective lang din ng human resources. Pero, kagaya rin nung lagi kong binabanggit kapag nasasabi ang question na yan. Depende siya sa context eh. Siyempre, may mga ibang tao na mas kailangan nila yung trabaho right away. And ikaw, kung sa palagay mo nandun ka sa sitwasyon na kailangan mo ng magtrabaho dahil sa dala ng pangangailangan, go ahead. I mean, admittedly, nasa third world society tayo. So, at some point, di ba, minsan, hindi privilege yung makakapamili ka ng trabaho. It's a blessing. Parang, you are one of the lucky ones na may choice para mamili ng trabaho. Ako ang take ko, hindi siya dapat makita as something na parang disadvantage. Lahat naman tayo dumadaan sa stages eh. And yung work ay isang fragment lang ng malaki mong buhay. It's just a stepping stone. So, ayun, I don't think there's something wrong kung pipiliin mo yung trabaho na hindi pa man yun yung sinisipat mong trabaho, pero yun yung pupunin mo. Siguro, ano lang, ang caveat lang ay, i-enjoy mo. So, yun. So, isang part yun siguro na nakikita ko.
Ayun po. So, thank you so much po for that. May add ba kayo, Doc?
Siguro swerte kasi ako na I went into a field na established na yung hierarchy na kailangan kong sundin para magkaroon ng trabaho. O may roadmap na clear na sa amin yun. Kaya it wasn't as difficult, I guess, for me when looking back kapag ako nung nag-iisip ako. Siguro nung time lang na yun, it was between choosing the usual path na maging residente, mag-train, or gawin yung ibang bagay. And during that time, hindi ako sure kung ano yung kailangan kong gawin, kung ano yung gusto kong gawin. So, merong opportunity na present na pwede kong pag-isipan yung gusto ko at the same time, I earn enough, which was yung Doctors of the Barrio. So, swerte ako in that sense na yung naging opportunity ko was financially, it was compensating me enough or even more than I could even imagine having during that time. So, in a sense, okay na siya, good enough. Tapos, ang lumaki pa lalo yung pagtingin ko dun sa opportunities na meron ako nung time yun. Hindi ako nalimitahan nung kung anong traditional and usual. So, yun siguro yung pinaka okay kapag pumunta ka sa isang work na feeling mo, pwede na yan. Kasi it opens your eyes din to other opportunities na baka hindi mo makikita kung inisip mo lang, ito yung gusto ko, ito dapat yung makuha ko. Yun. Basta, syempre, going into that work na you're thinking na pwede na, you look at it as a form of learning din. Para matutunan mo kung ano yung mga bagay na, ito pala yung ibang opportunities na pwede sa akin. So, matututunan mo yun eh. And kapag natutunan mo yun, ma-apply mo yun once you get the job that you really wanted in the first place.
So, parang stepping stone po pala ito. Yung first job is not about being strategic ka dapat sa pagpili. So, parang you see as your first job as your stepping stone. Parang mga ganun po.
Well, ano naman, dugtungan ko lang yung sinabi ni Doc. Maganda yung sinabi niya. Hindi lang sa stepping stone. I think hindi lang first job eh. Lahat ng trabaho should be treated as learning opportunities. Kasi yung binabanggit ni Doc kanina, akala mo nandun ka na sa na-imagine mong level ng success, pero maraming opportunities pa na pwede mag-open eh. Na pwede kang hilahin nun to new endeavors and new ventures. So,
Okay, so to follow up po, Doc at saka Sir, parang is this kung saan po ba kayong field ngayon, yan na po yung first job niyo po or meron po ba kayong other job noon? And when looking for your job, ano po ba yung mga characteristics ng employer na dapat naming tingnan or should we consider?
ako ba?
Sige po.
Sige. Medyo marami na akong pinagdaanan eh. I think napag-usapan natin to offline. Nakapag-translate na ako ng anime before. Yung mga ganyan na akong trabaho. Naging virtual assistant na rin ako dati. Naging content writer na rin ako for quite some time. Tapos, ang main field ko talaga ay research and teaching talaga, faculty. So, hindi ko talaga field yung HR. Pero it just so happen na malaki kasi yung similarities ng organizational development at ng social sciences. So, it's a track na sinubukan ko i-pursue. In relation to that, yung una nag-hire sa akin as HR, inamin niya talaga, sinabi niya rin talaga sa akin na I hired you for potential. And tignan natin along the way kung mafulfill yung potential na yun. So, grateful ako dun sa opportunity. So, yun siya. In relation dun sa tanong mo na what should we look for sa employer, I think ano siya eh, kagaya na sinasabi ni Do kanina, medyo usapin siya ng judgment sa mga gray areas. Bakit? Kasi minsan, kahit magaling yung employer, may tinatawag tayong culture fit eh. Pwedeng ikaw din kasi as empleyado, hindi ka fit doon sa culture ng organization.
That's true.
Some people, magugulat ka, pasok ka sa organization, ang reputation ng organization ay toxic.
Apo.
Pero some people thrive in that environment, which is quite surprising. Yung iba naman, sobrang chill, yan, laid back. Ang problem naman ng iba, understimulated sila, nakukulangan sila sa challenge, naghanap sila ng grind. So, since bata pa naman kayo, I would suggest na subukan nyo lang din mag-apply. For starters, kung maghahanap ka ng guide, meron namang online na mga nagre-review ng mga kumpanya. Yan, mag-search ka rin sa online ng mga top employers sa Pilipinas. Kasi meron yan, top 10 employers sa Pilipinas. So yun, makikita mo siya online.
So when you said po na review, paano po, like, anong klaseng review po ba ito? Like,
Ano talaga, parang Reddit forums. Nagdi-discuss
okay.
sila anong klaseng workplace yung workplace nila. Isa-suggest ba nila doon sa mga applicants na mag-apply sa gantong kumpanya. Marami kasing considerations eh. Minsan hindi lang pay. Some people will take a small pay because of convenience. Pwedeng katabi lang kasi talaga ng bahay nila. So, minsan malaking consideration yun. Or minsan nag-aalaga sila ng bata. Yung trabaho, hindi malaki yung pay, pero it will actually compensate doon sa oras na kailangan nila para i-tend yung family nila. So, yun siya. Yun nga. In relation to that, my suggestion is, subukan nyo lang din. It pays kung may makikita kayong mga reviews online, pero at the same time, kombinasyon din siya nung research mo at minsan, kung pwede rin makatulong yung gut feeling mo, mararamdaman mo naman yun sa nag-interview sa'yo. So, yun.
okay, so parang more on about knowing yourself din siya, kung saan ka mas fit. Ayun, bagong buzzword for me, yung culture fit. Dapat ikaw mag-reflect ka din, anong klase kang tao na mas nag-work ka ba sa mas toxic na environment? Kaya mo bang mag-work under pressure? Or gusto mo ba yung chill-chill lang? So, ayun po. So, thank you so much. For our next question po, so, as we become adults naman po, ang daming mga new opportunities. Tapos, syempre, at the very start, ganun talaga sa umpisa, exciting. Pero syempre, may takot pa rin yun. Especially sa pag-figure out po na if we are on the correct career path for us. So, Sir Dom, ano po yung mga common challenges po ng mga young adults when it comes to when they step into the workforce na po?
Well, first and foremost, sa usapin ng pagiging takot sa trabaho, I think binanggit ko sa inyo yan a while ago.
Yes.
Kung hindi ka matatakot sa mga endeavors na susubukan mo, hindi siya ganun kahalaga sa'yo.
Yeah.
Kasi yung mga bagay na mahalaga talaga sa'yo, dapat merong konting takot yan. May konti kang kaba. No? Kasi it means a lot to you. So, parang ganun. Common challenges ng mga bagong nag-a-apply ng trabaho ngayon. Actually, kombinasyon siya eh. You have the traditional challenges. Of course, may mga areas na kailangan mong i-develop yung competence mo para makuha mo yung certain na trabaho. Another challenge is yung ang daming emerging na hybrid na economy ngayon. So, may certain sense of competence na kailangan. For example, sa amin ngayon sa HR, hindi nauubra yung HR lang yung area na alam mo. Kailangan meron kang financial acumen. dapat malinaw sa'yo kung paano nag-ooperate yung business. Whereas pwede kang mag-pursue siguro ng master's degree sa human resources. Pero it pays kung meron ding mabigat na emphasis, for example, sa MBA, sa business ad. So yun, kasi nagbabago rin talaga yung trends ng economy. Tas in addition to that, yung emergence pa ng AI, I think hindi lang sa HR, hindi lang sa medicine, hindi lang sa healthcare, halos lahat ng industry maapektuhan yan. So it pays kung marunong ka rin pagdating sa technology. Marunong kang mag-embrace. I think yun yung mga challenges when it comes to competence na kakaharapin ng mga bagong applicant these days.
So parang kailangan niyo po talaga na keep up with the technology na meron tayo ngayon. Parang doon na po nagre-revolve mostly ng mga trabaho ngayon din po, no? So, tama po ba?
Yes. And individually speaking siguro, in addition to that, I think challenge to ng lahat to focus. Yan yung challenge ng lahat ngayon.
Kahit po hindi po nagtatrabaho.
Yes, kahit hindi ka nagtatrabaho. Kasi sobrang open yung stream ng information na hindi mo na alam kung ano specifically yung kailangan mong bigyan ng attention.
You are watching New Vlogs' Pioneer Series, a Gen Z's guide to a life of worth, wellness, opportunities, relationships, transitions, and health. This series is proudly brought to you by the Mu Sigma Phi sorority of the UP College of Medicine, Philippine General Hospital. The beneficiary of this event is the UP-PGH Child Protection Unit. This series is made by the Mu Vlogs team of the Mu Sigma Phi sorority, co-presented by the Mu Sigma Phi Foundation, Motivo Philippines, Slimmers World Face and Skin Clinic, powered by Tony and Jackie Beauty Salon Corporation, and our official partners, the Mu Sigma Phi Fraternity, WhenInManila.com, Monster RX 93.1, and our awesome planet. Be one of the first 175 lucky viewers and grab the chance to win our amazing prizes. You could score any of the following: 1,200 pesos worth of Prime Cara Protein Treatment voucher from Tony and Jackie, or 1,500 pesos worth of Slimmers World Face and Skin Clinic voucher, or 500 pesos discount with no minimum spend from Motivo Philippines. Stay tuned till the end of the vlog to find out on how to win these vouchers. Please ensure your details are correct. We will also like to invite you to download the Immunity mobile app. It's a user-friendly, physician-guided health mobile app which features immunization record and tracker, information atlas on all vaccines available in the Philippines, and frequently asked questions on myths and vaccinations. It is currently available for free on Google Play Store and Apple App Store. Additionally, we have installed a set of immunity booster stickers on Viber and Telegram for your use when communicating with your loved ones through the aforementioned platforms. You may download them at tinyurl.com/immunityviber and tinyurl.com/immunityviber2 for Viber, and at tinyurl.com/immunity-tg for Telegram.
Okay, so in relation to that po, Doc Mel, with how could these challenges po impact our mental health naman po?
So si Sir Dom, di ba, kanina was talking about competence in the workplace, lalo na dun sa trabaho na gagawin mo. And syempre, being an emerging adult, yung competence na yun is still in question. Kasi yun nga identity mo palang hindi mo pa sure talaga kung sino ka. So imagine being in a position na kailangan alam mo na or kailangan inaalam mo kung ano yung mga dapat alam mo dun sa trabaho and ano yung skills na meron ka. On top of that, inaalam mo ba kung sino ka ba talaga? So yung area na yon na hindi siya always stable. It's actually very unstable. Being in that area of knowing how to fit in dun sa expectations ng workplace and how to manage yourself and understand yourself. Yung ganong instability can cause mental health challenges talaga. Lalo na if nagkakaroon ng mga conflicts about yung hinihingi ng trabaho and yung alam mong sa sarili mo na kaya mong ibigay or hindi. So, doon papasok yung self-worth, self-esteem, feeling mo ba, kaya ko ba to? naku, baka hindi ko to kaya. So, yung ina-expect ni boss, baka hindi ko ma-produce. Pag hindi ko ma-produce to, anong mangyayari sa akin? Mawawalan ba ako ng trabaho? Itatanggalin ba ako? Proby pa lang ako diba? 6-month probationary period. So, yung ganong questions can really cause some problems or mental health. Kasi, hindi lang yung kapasidad mo bilang manggagawa, yung kine-question mo na, pati yung sarili mo, pwede mong questionin na rin.
Agree po, parang, okay, nag-sink in po sa akin how it affected. So, ma'am, in relation to that po, Doc, ano naman po ang mga, as a psychiatrist na po for almost a decade, tama po ba?
Di naman nasa decade.
Pero malapit na parang
Medyo malayo pa tayo doon. I'm still an early career psychiatrist.
Pero I know, very, ano na po kayo, maalam for sa field na to. Ano po yung mga common na mga mental health issues na na-encounter niyo po sa age group po namin or sa mga 15 to mga working age?
I think I see a lot of burnout.
Burnout.
Kasi when we talk about burnout, it's it's chronic stress na hindi na ma-manage. So bakit siya hindi na ma-manage? Kasi either yung sarili mo, hindi mo alam na may nagiging problema na pala. Tapos, syempre yung system in place din dun sa workplace mo may not have, wala masyadong time and system in place para mabigyan ka ng breathing room. Tapos yung burnout na yun, and burnout by the way is not a medical condition actually. Hindi siya part ng nasa listahan ng DSM, ng psychiatric conditions. Pero it's somehow a phenomenon na nakikita sa mga tao na hindi na ma-manage yung stress sa trabaho properly. So yun, I see a lot of those, and yun nga, hindi siya na ma-manage. So once hindi na manage talaga completely yung burnout, it can lead to mental health conditions like depression or anxiety disorders. Yun. So in the age group, yung emerging adulthood 18 to 25, I see a lot of depressive disorders and anxiety disorders as well.
Okay. So speaking of that po, nasabi niyo mga anxiety disorder, like anxiety po, depression. So we've talked about the problems. Let's talk about the solutions naman po. Ano po ba ang magagawa? So according po sa World Health Organization, may estimated na parang 15% of working age adults have mental disorder noong 2019 po. So sakali, baka naman sa mga nanonood sa atin, meron diyang mga small business owners, mga ganon, or mga malay natin CEOs po. So how can employers address these mental health issues or like problems na na-encounter po ng kanilang mga employees? Sir Dom?
Actually, emerging din ngayon yung concept ng psychologically safe work. Tsaka yung usapin ng employee engagement. Whereas yung employee engagement dati, it's a discourse sa workplace na kung saan tinitignan yung level ng well-being ng mga tao. Yung idea niyan, actually, nagsimula yan sa mga pabrika. Yan, psychological safety, employee engagement. Safety muna, wala pa nun yung psychological safety, pero na-realize nila na correlated yun kasi para hindi ka maputulan ng daliri, dapat maayos yung cognitive state.
Totoo.
So, tinignan nila yon. So, yung mga yan, it pays kung yung companies can establish some mechanisms, regardless doon sa level ng kung yan ay magbubukas ka lang, for example, ng sa clinic mo, magpapapunta ka doon ng psychiatrist, psychologist na magka-counsel doon sa mga tao pag may mga pinagdadaanan silang problema. So that's one thing. Engagement activity, syempre, yan, trabaho yan ng mga middle managers, tsaka managers. Dapat maayos ka makipag-communicate. Kasi I think most of workplace conflicts naman ang pinanggagalingan yan ay hindi maayos na communication channels. If you are a leader, dapat malinaw kung paano ka makipag-communicate sa mga tao. Yung traditional concept ng leader na nagbibigay ng instructions, hindi lang kasi yun.
Totoo.
So, hindi ka lang ko-connect sa kanilang head, ko-connect ka rin sa human element eh. You should speak to your staff na hindi mo, syempre, binabasag yung esteem. Kasi to start with, as a leader, meron kang virtue ng authority, and yung authority na yan, it can be pushed para makapang-abuse ng mga tao.
Yes.
So that's one thing na dapat cautious ka. Tapos, syempre, usapin pa rin siya ng, kung sa mas malaking organization framework to, usapin siya ng accountability pa rin. No, hindi ibig sabihin na binabayaran mo yung employees, hindi ka rin accountable dun sa overall well-being nila. So, yun.
Okay. So sir, parang you talked about na dapat meron din mag-hiring, tama po ba kanina? Yung nag-a-assess ng psychological safety din ng mga employees, and you as a leader or CEO na ng mga kumpanya nyo, you should be also responsible with that. So ma'am, may pwede ka po bang idagdag doon as a psychiatrist? Mga advice po para sa mga CEO na mga nanonood po.
Well, definitely not all companies are capable
Yes.
of putting a psychologist or a psychiatrist sa parang retainer. Yung mga yon, 'di ba? Hindi kaya kasi medyo mahal, kumbaga, to say it simply. Pero gaya ng sinabi ni Sir Dom, important for leaders of companies to understand na when you lead, it's a two-way street. You make yourself known to the people that you lead, sasabihin mo yung mga kailangan mo, pero kailangan papakinggan mo din sila. Kasi it's that sharing of power, I guess, in the workplace that allows one to thrive, even yung pinakamababa sa kumpanya. Kung alam niya na meron siyang bosses and meron siyang, somehow may power siya over her employment, yung kung nasan siya sa kumpanyang yon, hindi siya basta-basta manliliit. So, mas may confidence siya sa ginagawa niya. So, less likely na maging yung matamaan yung mental health niya negatively ng trabaho.
Okay. Yeah, so parang more on awareness po talaga siya. So when pinag-uusapan yung awareness po, sir, meron po bang mga policies po ba or batas sa Pilipinas po na parang regarding awareness sa workplace na about mental health, mga ganun po?
Actually, hindi ako masyadong nakamonitor kung asa na yung mental health law sa Pilipinas and yung extent ng kanyang implementation pagdating sa workplace.
Yes po.
However, I know some workplaces na gumagawa sila ng mechanisms for mental well-being ng mga employees. I think on a previous talk with Doc noon, napag-usapan na karamihan dyan mga multinational and mga foreign companies yung nakagawa niyan. Perhaps may kinalaman yung sinabi ni Doc na
With cost.
yung PFI afford nila.
Okay.
Pero, yun nga, kagaya rin nung sinabi ko, pwede naman hindi naman kailangan na agad may problema psychiatrist agad or psychologist. Kung yung leaders ng organization, ramdam ng mga tao na mapagkakatiwalaan ko na i-disclose ko even yung mga intimate concerns ko sa buhay. That's one thing na makakatulong na doon sa mga employees. So yun. Yung general concept naman ng psychological safety is mataas yung level ng trust ng mga tao sa loob ng organization to the point na kaya nila mag-express, hindi muna tayo doon sa intimate concerns
Yes po.
Kaya nilang sabihin doon sa opisina or sa trabaho na, boss, may nagawa akong mali.
Yes.
Paano po ba natin naayusin to? Tapos hindi sila mapaparusahan. That's one thing Malaki ang value nun. Pag alam mo na kung yung empleyado mo, sa hospital, ganyan po. Hindi kasi maiwasan sa hospital, syempre, yung may mga medication error. May mga processes na mabibreach. Ngayon, kung yung mga nurses mo, yung allied health practitioners mo, hindi sila marunong mag-open, buhay yung kapalit nun. So, yan actually yung foundations ng psychological safety. Yung merong space kung saan mataas yung intellectual friction, pero mababa yung social friction. I can say things that are needed to be said. Pero at the same time, yung repercussions niya, I know na, yes, pwedeng may konsekwensya na maapektuhan ako, pero hindi siya sa level na mako-condemn ako.
We were talking about kanina healthy working environment po. So curious lang po ako, do you think po na kayo sa Philippines, kayo as mga workforce na po ng Pilipinas, ng country natin, masabi niyo po ba na you're working in a healthy environment po? Ganun.
Kayo po, sige ma'am.
Ako?
Doc Mel. Sige po.
Well, I am my own boss. Fortunately for me. So yes, I prioritize my mental health. In fact, I was just coming from a break, from a vacation. So, yun yung ano naman, swerte ko doon. Kasi ako yung magdidictate basically. Pero syempre, pinanggalingan natin sa hospital. Kailangan balansehin. Kailangan mong malaman kung kailan mo ipaprioritize yung pagiging member of the workforce in the hospital and kailan mo ito timing na bigyan yung sarili mo ng break.
Okay. Kayo naman po, Sir Doc.
Ako, medyo mahirap kasi sagutin yung tanong mo about yung generally speaking kung
Yes.
healthy yung mga workplace. Saan ba dito sa Pilipinas? I think context dependent eh.
Iba-iba din naman po, no?
Iba-iba din siya. Siyempre, ang hirap naman bigyan ng blanket statement na oo o hindi, di ba?
Yeah.
Parang ang hirap bigyan ng blanket statement na yun. However, siguro, before we proceed doon sa labas, malaking factor naman yung working environment doon sa overall health ng tao. Pero before we proceed doon sa labas, I believe na pwede rin muna nating lagyan ng mechanisms yung sarili nating practices daily and yung mga ginagawa natin, habits natin. Para at least, kung ano man maging itsura ng workplace na papasukin mo, fit ka para harapin. So, mas ganun ko siya tinitingnan. Kasi, naniniwala din ako na, of course, it's nice to have na merong mga workplace na healthy, pero maganda na ikaw, healthy ka rin papasok doon, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Kasi kung wala ka, kahit gaano ka healthy yan, kung ikaw mismo hindi maayos yung iyong processes, self-awareness, physical health, and everything else, hindi ka rin mag-fit doon sa healthy na environment.
Yeah. So, I believe,
Unahin muna ang sarili na i-improve para, ayun, align ka din naman with the kind of work na papasukin mo. Yes po. So, yung next question ko naman po, syempre po, hindi naman po madali magsimula na humingi po ng tulong, especially po kapag hindi namin alam kung saan or kanino kami lalapit. So, how do we address this parang hesitancy or attitude na hesitant kami lumapit or saan po ba kami mag-seek ng help? Parang mga ganun po. Paano? How do we start?
Yung hesitancy, siguro it's more of a personal journey to say when you're ready to seek help or not. Pero if you have those thoughts already, maybe it can help if you look at the internet. There's a lot of information. Nabanggit kanina ni Sir Dom, yung Reddit. Actually, ang daming thread about mental health and seeking help sa Reddit. I think that's a good way to start. Tapos, if you know someone, maganda ring magtanong. Pero minsan kasi, part of the hesitancy, hindi lang yung seeking help, but opening up in general. So, if you have that one person that you're comfortable with, para sabihin mo yung mga nararamdaman mo or yung mga questions mo, pwede mong gawin doon, pwede mong sa kanya kausapin. Pero kung hindi, pwede kang maghanap ng sagot elsewhere. So, yun nga, internet it's a very vast place to be in, ang internet. So siguro alamin mo na lang kung saan ka pwede maghanap doon ng maayos na information. So meron namang mga official pages, yung mga institutions that offer mental health support, you can start there. So para lang malaman mo kung ano yung makukuha mo once you seek help. And that will help you decide kung okay ka na ba. Gusto mo na ba magpatingin, magpa-consult or not. Pero ito lang, sasabihin ko lang, hindi naman kailangan na nahihirapan ka na tsaka ka pa lang magsisik ng help. Minsan kung kailangan mo ng kausap, wala dito yung kaibigan mo, wala dito yung pamilya mo, then by all means, seek consultation with a psychologist, your counselor, a psychiatrist, kahit sino. Kasi hindi naman, we're so connected yet at the same time disconnected, di ba? Kasi everyone's on their phones. But because everything is out there for everyone to see, lalo tayong mas medyo napapa-isolate kasi parang, ay baka i-judge ako kapag nagsabi ako. Kasi nga, laging out in the open yung buhay natin eh. So, minsan, the best listening ear is someone who do not know us personally. And doon papasok yung mga mental health professionals.
Meron meron po ba yung free consultations? Kasi di ba some of us maging hesitant po na lumapit sa mga psychologist, psychiatrist po. Kasi ayun, cost din po yung
Yeah,
problema.
mahal.
Yes po.
Yes, meron naman. So usually government institutions with psychiatry training offer free mental health services. So we have the biggest, at least sa Metro Manila, is the National Center for Mental Health and the Philippine General Hospital. Tapos in provinces, sa medyo north, meron tayo sa Mariveles Wellness Mental Hospital. Tapos meron din sa Baguio General Hospital. Somewhere south, Cebu, Vicente Soto. We also have Southern Philippines Medical Center. So yun yung mga hospitals na nag-o-offer ng mental health consultation for free or very, very minimal charges.
Thank you for that po, Doc. Or may additional question lang po ako about, kasi what if po, parang ayoko pa muna magpa-consult with a psych. Kung yung sabi niyo po kanina na if I just want someone na kakausapin ko, like yung parang tatawag lang po, pero meron po bang number na pwedeng tawagan na yung anonymous ka lang po? Ganon.
I think the National Center for Mental Health has a hotline na you can call. I'm not particular with the numbers, but Google it. I'm sure makikita niyo yung numbers. Meron sila.
So we'll just put it in the link or up dito sa somewhere in the screen. We will just flash it po para sa mga nanunood sa atin na who might be needing it. So ayun, thank you so much for that, ma'am. And ngayon naman po for our next question, since may kasama tayo ditong HR and sa psychiatrist, kailan po ba dapat kami magpa-consult or mag-refer kayo po ng mga HR sa psychiatrist and other professional?
Kung sa HR frame yan, malawak kasi, depende dun sa structure ng organization. Pero first and foremost, for example, performance evaluation, makikita mo na may decline sa performance, we encourage managers to probe into that. Bakit? Baka kasi may crisis na pinagdadaanan yung mga tao, which actually happens. Minsan, one of the reasons talaga kung bakit may decline ng performance from a high performer pababa. Kasi may personal crisis yung mga tao. I think yun yung isang of value na pwedeng masuggest ng HR. Meron din mga very obvious. Minsan meron kami mga empleyado na talagang lumalapit sa HR na baka may kakilala kayong pwedeng tumulong sa akin kasi pinagdadaanan ko itong bagay na to. So yun. Pero usapin pa rin siya ng hindi lang sa HR Usapin siya ng leadership pa rin. How I see it na kung leader ka, yun nga, apart sa leading, ikaw din yung steward ng team mo So alam mo kung ano dito yung sinong may problema dito, sino yung kailangan mo i-coach, sino yung kailangan mo i-mentor, dapat regular yung check-ins mo. Hindi lang kayo nag-uusap pag performance evaluation season na.
Yes.
'Di ba? I-address mo yung mga kailangan i-address and nandun ka to support. So, ayun. Actually, maganda yung question na yan. I remember a quote from Indra Nooyi. Dati siyang president ng Pepsi. Na parang sabi niya, talent in crisis is worthless. Kasi totoo Kahit gaano ka-talented yung tao, kung nasa gitna ng crisis yan, hindi niya malalabas yung full extent ng talent. So,
Agree. Sige. Agree with that po. And then kayo man po, ma'am, as a psychiatrist, when po ba yung best time na parang, or like early intervention para mag-seek help po?
Siguro, anytime naman Basta you're ready to speak, to talk about your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, or actually even if you're not ready and you have that thought lang in your mind na maybe I should consult, then go ahead. Kasi there must be something there, kaya ka napapaisip. And minsan, seeking help will answer that question. Bakit ba ako nagtatanong? Bakit ko ba iniisip na magpa-consult? So yun. Anytime naman. Walang tamang oras, walang tamang panahon. Kung kailan mo naisip at doon ka nagpa-consulta, yun yung tamang oras at panahon.
Okay. Ang may pahabol lang po ako na tanong po. Sir Dom, sa'yo naman po, meron po bang referral system din po yung mga companies or kahit sa company niyo po kung saan po kayo nagtatrabaho? Like, okay, pwede niyo po bang ma-explain?
Yung number one source namin actually ng recruits ay galing sa referral system. Meron kaming mechanism, ang tawag nila ay refer a friend to earn reward. May rewards yun, may makukuha pag marami kang, rafter tawag nila doon. Pag marami kang na-refer, yun, may rewards. And mas madali kasi yung referral system actually. Kasi nandun na rin sa kung okay yung empleyadong nag-refer, nandun yung tiwala mo, naayos to. So, yun. And magandang indicator siya na nagiging healthy yung organization kasi nagre-refer yung mga tao ng mga kilala nila na doon sa trabaho. Meaning, naniniwala din sila na yung trabaho, hindi niya pababayaan yung i-refer nila na tao.
When it comes to psych or mental health wellness naman po, kunwari may lumapit po sa inyo about need ko po ng help, sir, kasi I am experiencing this kind of problem. Saan nyo po sila, ano usually yung ginagawa nyo po? Tapos, if hindi nyo na po kaya, may referral system din po ba kayo?
Oh, hospital kami. So sa hospital, kumbaga, common yan. Alam namin na isa sa mga concerns yan. And yes, meron kaming mga mental health professionals naman doon sa hospital. Pero yun, depende nga rin doon sa ano marami siyang factors sa usapin kung kailan lalapit. Kasi kahit anong reach out mo, kung di naman mag-reach out sa'yo, mahirap din talagang sabihan yung tao na punta ka sa gantong professional to seek help. So yun. Although tinatry namin yung best namin. Pero pag mga cases na talagang actively lumapit, talaga nire-refer na namin agad sa professional.
Professional, like sa psych po, ganon. Okay. So, ayun po. So, we're happy na meron naman po pala silang malalapitan sa mga workplaces. Yun lang naman po ang importante kasi yung iba po, di po alam kung meron nag-i-exist na mga malalapitan and then kaya pinapabayaan na lang nila. Mga ganun po. Okay. So, my next question po. So, syempre, importante na ma-address po natin ang mga challenges ng emerging adulthood. Pero mahalaga pa rin naman po na ma-achieve yung tinatawag nating well-being during these times. So, ano po ba yung mga protective factors na pwede nating pagtuunang pansin, especially kapag nagkaka-experience tayo ng mental problems or like depression, anxiety, and ayun po, sa workplace natin.
So, yung protective factors natin usually yung social support that we have. So, our relationships, work relationship man yon or personal relationships. Tapos, I think protective factor then is when you have a life outside work. You have things, you have hobbies, meron kang sinusundan din na routine when you're outside work para pwede kang mag-distress, mag-relax, or mag-shake off ng anxiety that you feel whenever you're at work. And then, important din talaga is, I think, alamin mo kung ano yung benefits mo as an employee. Yung question na kung saan ka magsisik ng help, unahin mo sa clinic. I'm sure either the nurse or the doctor knows someone na pwedeng ma-referan kung kailangan mo ng tulong. Tapos, ilan ba yung leave credits na meron kayo? Pwede ko bang gamitin na yan? Or siguro, i-monetize ko na lang by the end of the year. Yung mga ganong bagay. So, kailangan alam mo yung benefits mo para hindi ka lang din basta-basta napapagod sa trabaho. Tapos, naburburnout sa trabaho. Alam mo din kung ano yung nabibigay nun sa'yo. So, yun yung mga, I think, mga protective factors na pwedeng balikan from time to time. And ito, siguro, I always ask this when I do my consultation. Your faith, your spirituality. Syempre, it's a very personal thing. Not everyone has that. I mean, hindi lahat naniniwala sa organized religion.
Yes.
If that's the case, that's okay. Kung ano yung pinapaniwalaan mo, hopefully, that's something you foster and that helps you get through the stressors you have in life and work.
Okay. So, good thing po na sinabi niyo po, Doc, about yung mga leave credits, including yung mga sick leave po, no?
Yes.
Yeah. So, sa mga nanonood dyan, gamitin niyo na po kung kailangan niyo po.
So, may mga benefits naman po kayo. So, be aware na lang po kung ano yung mga na-offer ng companies ninyo. So, alam nyo din po kung anong maa-apply nyo sa sarili ninyo. Okay, Sir Dom, may i-add ka po ba?
Yeah. Hindi. Sa usapin kasi ng unang-una, maganda yung tanong sa level na ano eh. The question is, how do we achieve wellness? Pero meron kasing, nami-misconstrue kasi ng mga tao na wellness is something given. From the terminology itself, achieve wellness. So it's something na, kung nakaka-encounter kayo ng circumstance na it's very challenging makapunta sa wellness, it should be. Kasi nandun din yung term na achievement eh. It's something na ina-achieve. Relative dun sa sinasabi ni Doc, may naalala lang ako, I heard this somewhere. And this is actually one of the things na lagi kong pinuput into mind para makita rin yung areas ng buhay ko. Parang a series of F's siya eh. Faith, fitness, family, friends, finance. So yung 5 yun, kung medyo, tsaka fun, yung pang-6. Siyempre, kung yung 6 na yan, na bibigay ko yung attention ko sa kanya in a balanced way, I think I can go on with my day kung ano man yung harapin ko. Ayun, in-check ako dun sa mga yun to at least, yun kasi minsan yung concern. I understand na gusto natin na sana paglabas natin sa mundo, welcoming yung mundo at i-embrace tayo. Pero that's not always the case. And ang kaya mong gawin, syempre, ay magsimula ka na maayos yung mechanisms mo. Yung areas na yan, nakapag-put ka ng tamang attention, nakapag-plant ka ng seeds na healthy. Tapos, I think, kahit saan ka mapunta. Kasi paglabas mo sa totoong mundo, which is doon nagugulat minsan yung mga young adult, na ang ruthless pala ng mundo. Parang, nangyayari pala na nagsisinungaling pala talaga yung mga tao sa labas ng mundo, 'di ba? Naggagamitan. Yes, it happens. Yung mga bagay na totoo na minsan nagugulat tayo. Pero kung ikaw mismo sa sarili mo, alam mo yung values mo, marunong ka mag-establish ng boundaries. Yan, lalong-lalo na yan, self-awareness, self-esteem, hindi naka-anchor sa isang area yung self-esteem mo. 'Di ba? Na sa trabaho lang, 'di ba? O sa friends lang, sa family lang. Pag hindi naka-anchor doon at malinaw sa iyo na hindi lang ito yung dimensions ng buhay ko to be balanced, I think makaka-move forward ka sa mga bagay sa buhay.
Wow, ang lalim naman po. And grabe yung 6 Fs. Siguro ipa-flash namin ulit po yung mga 6 Fs. Kasi totoo po na life is not just about work. Hindi dapat yung maging sentro ng buhay mo, isa lang. So dapat i-divide mo to. So maximize your life in different aspects. Yung ganun po, di ba? So, ayun. So I hope yung sa 6 Fs, mag-reflect na kayo dyan na if na-achieve nyo ba to, fun, may time pa ba kayo sa family nyo, sa finance, ano pa ba ang kaya kong gawin para i-level up or ma-attain yung goal ko financially, mga ganon. So, we'll flash that on screen. So, ayan po. For our final question naman po, very known tayo dito for Filipinos. We want naman to know what is resilience and you know, 'di ba? Especially during bagyo po. Sabihan tayo yung mga Filipinos, very resilient, nakakangiti pa rin kahit may problema. Kaya minsan di mo alam if may na-experience na po ba silang problema kasi nakangiti lang sila. Ganun po. So, I am curious if it's innate or is it something na kaya pa bang i-develop sa tao?
Ma'am.
Okay. So I think yung resilience kasi diba is a capacity to stand up after mga problems and difficulties in life and how we cope with the stressors of life. So that for me is resilience. And I think hindi naman siya, it's not something innate. I mean, some people meron silang personality that are more adept at handling stress. Pero may mga tao na kailangan mag-work on pa sila, mag-try pa silang gumawa ng mga bagay that can increase their tolerance to stress and therefore increase their resilience. So, it's something that you can develop naman. Pero yung development of resilience comes with a responsibility to go out of your comfort zone. Kasi kung hindi ka lalabas sa comfort zone mo, doon ka lang, hindi matcha-challenge kung ano yung kaya mo pang harapin sa buhay. So, if you go out of your comfort zone, medyo mawawala yung stability. And that, yung part na yun, yung pagiging unstable natin in that particular time or period of our lives, doon tayo pwedeng matuto. Doon tayo pwedeng matuto ng mga bagay, doon rin tayo pwedeng mag-develop ng resilience. So, yes, nade-develop siya, pero kailangan meron tayong active contribution to that development. Kailangan lumabas tayo dun sa mga dating ginagawa natin para makuha din natin siya, para maging mas resilient pa tayo. Pero yun, laging tandaan, yung resilience should come in the context of where we are at that point. Hindi pwedeng tiis lang. Kailangan na qualify natin, okay lang ba na magtiis at this point or kailangan bang itigil na? Kasi minsan baka naiisip din natin na yung pagtitiis is resilience in itself, but sometimes it can also perpetuate a cycle of abuse. So kailangan din na alam natin kung kailan tayo bibitaw at hindi isipin na hindi kailangan maging resilient, kailangan I push through with this. So, and I think that what helps is talking about it to other people. Kasi minsan yung perspective nila yung magsasabi na parang hindi na tama yung pinapagawa ng boss mo. Parang dapat sa Sunday hindi ka na tinatawagan. Yun.
Relationship with the self.
So, yun. I think yes, resilience is something that you can develop, but you also have to always take it into context na ma-make sure na sa pag-try mong mag-strive and stand up from the stressors that you've had and the problems you've had, kailangan pagtayo mo, buo ka pa rin. Kasi kung hindi ka na kung unti-unti nang nag-chip away yung mga bagay, yung sarili mo, then that's not resilience anymore. Hindi na siya dapat ipagpatuloy. Kailangan nang bumitaw.
Grabe naman po yun, ma'am. Parang ang lalim. Pero grabe, ma'am, nag-sink in po talaga sa akin yung sinabi nyo na hindi dapat always tiis. Dapat alam mo yung boundaries kung saan ka na dapat titigil. Are there questions po ba na pwede kong itanong sa sarili ko na, okay, sobra-sobra na to, tama na to. It's time for me to stop it. Or pwede pa yun po, yung sinabi nyo, or kaya ko pa itry, sige pa, kaya ko pang onting tiis pa. Ganon po.
Siguro if I see something na pwedeng mag-grow pa sa akin, kapag ginawa ko yung isang bagay, kapag magtiis pa ako, if there's growth in that process of pagtitiis, then maybe I can continue. But if I start questioning myself, na kaya ko, may mali ba sa ginagawa ko, or ako pa ba to, baka kailangan ng mag-review ng ginagawa mo sa buhay and start asking kung time na bang umalis.
With that palang need mo talaga na malaman yung self mo muna. Need mo to reflect from time to time. Is it still worth it? Or kailangan ko na ba itigil to? Quit? Or ganon. Kasi when it comes to quitting po, parang negative connotation po, no?
So, it's always a negative, parang we always look at quitting as something negative. But sometimes, it's the bravest thing that you can do.
Yeah.
To know when to let go.
Especially if nakaka-damage na siya ng personal worth mo, naka-question na siya ng worth mo as a person. So we should really know when to stop and when to continue. Kayo po, Sir Dom, may add po ba kayo?
Sa usapin ng resilience, yes, meron naman benefits yan. I mean, kung titignan mo naman siya sa context, minsan beneficial siya. Parang may mga pagkakataon na mag-seem na very hopeless yung situation and nang meron ka lang resilience. So, pwede kang itawid talaga ng resilience to the next level. Pero I also agree with Doc dun sa sinasabi niya. Malaking usapin din siya ng self-awareness eh. Pati yung sinasabi na you should know how to reconsider things. And sabi nga nila, kung gusto mo ng focus na buhay, ang number one skill na dapat alam mo is to say no.
Yes.
Kasi hindi mo magagawa yung isang malaking endeavor na pinagsasabay-sabay mo ring i-please lahat ng tao at lahat ng bagay sa paligid mo. So, yun, sa palagay ko malaking factor yun sa usapin ng benefit ng resilience. So, yes, that's one thing. Another thing siguro na pwede mong gawin, in addition sa sinasabi ni Doc kanina, apart sa pagkilala sa sarili mo, pwede mo rin kasing tignan yung sarili mo na future pace eh. What will I become kung ipagpapatuloy ko ito? Diba? Pero kung futile yung result nun, mag-isip ka. No, kasi malamang may abuse na nangyayari or hindi na okay, lalong-lalo na sa context ng workplace. Mahirap eh. Some people give their best. Toxic yung workplace, tapos expecting for a promotion, in the end, hindi naman pala sila mapopromote. Maganda rin, tungtungan ko yung sinabi ni Doc kanina earlier about being proactive. Pagka ganyan po yung sitwasyon sa opisina, kausapin mo boss mo, diretsuhin mo. Ito yung ginagawa ko with everything that I'm doing. What's the likelihood na ma-promote ako? That's one thing. Another thing, ako, tinanong ko to mismo sa boss ko. I want that position. What are the things that I need to do para makuha ko yung position na yun? Okay lang yun. Walang problema yun. Sa mga Pilipino, baka isipin nila, ang yabang naman. Pero sa totoo lang, hindi. Kasi hindi mo makukuha yun kung hindi mo alam yung mga gagawin mo. At ang mas nakakaalam nun ay yung boss mo. Sa usapin naman ng performance, lagi kong ina-advise sa mga tao to. Kung naguguluhan ka at confused ka sa performance expectation sa'yo, at yung level ng performance na gusto mo ibigay, tanongin mo yung mga tao sa paligid mo at saka boss mo. Kung anong itsura ng excellence dito sa job role na to. Sila kasi yung makakapagsabi nun eh. Tapos yun, from there, take note. Tapos i-try mong i-inculcate yun sa practices mo sa performance. Kasi ganun siya eh. It pays to be resilient, pero may part din kasi na kung hindi mo kayang makipag-negotiate doon sa sarili mong virtue ng resilience, inaabuso mo lang din yung sarili mo at the same time. So, parang ganun ko siya.
Okay. So yung nakuha ko po talaga there is know your goals, be open, and know talaga kung ano yung hinahanap para syempre hindi ka lang about nagtitiis, you know also paano ka mag-proceed. Ganun po, and easier to achieve your goal.
Thank you so much po for these answers. And I think doon na po nagtatapos ang ating question and answer portion. Okay, so for everyone, thank you so much for watching our vlog. And before we end the vlog, may mga few takeaways lang po ako. So, sa haba po ng kwentuhan natin, madami po talaga akong napulot, pero hindi ko po siya maisa-isa. Yung
main takeaway ko lang po talaga here is importante pa rin na after your school as an emerging adult, kailangan mo po talaga na maging self-aware, mag-self-reflect ka, especially when looking for your first job. Kailangan na i-align mo kung ano ang natutunan mo sa ano yung gusto mong job. And also, yung sabi niyo po kanina na culture fit, it's important also to consider na yung papasukan kong trabaho ay akma sa personality ko din as a person, kasi hindi lang siya, it's not about just the skills na meron ako. I have to consider also yung personality ko. Do I work better in a more or like toxic environment or yung mas lenient? Parang ganun po yung na pa-reflect ako, as well as yung sinabi niyo po kanina, Doc Mel, about resiliency. It's about knowing when to proceed and when to quit. And ayun guys, so quitting na sinasabi, we should not see it as something na negative. Kasi totoo yung sinabi, maganda to yung sinabi mo kanina, Doc, na quitting is something na sometimes it's the bravest thing that a person can do. So kapag alam mo na ay hindi na to beneficial sa akin, nakaka-affect na talaga to, it's time for me to stop this, to quit this job and find something na mas wholesome or beneficial for me as a person. Ayun po. Kasi breakdown or root nito is kapag mentally well ang employee or ang tao, syempre work siya ng better results for the company, better results for the family, and for yourself also. Maximize yung pagiging well-being mo, na optimize yung self-optimization, your actualization, mas na sa yung self-actualization na kakamit mo siya if you are well mentally, physically, and emotionally po. So, ayun. So, any last words po ba sa ating mga audience? Baka meron po kayong pwedeng sabihin or gustong sabihin sa kanila?
Kasi,
Yes, sa mga bagong papasok sa workforce, huwag kayong matakot sa workforce. Huwag kayong matakot sa idea ng work in general. For ako, this is just personal, pero I think work is one of the things that can actually make you mentally stable. Kung babalik ka dun sa lessons from Sigmund Freud, ano sabi ni Freud? Love and work, work and love. That's all there is. Kasi in work, you're devoting and dedicating yourself to something bigger than you. In love, you're dedicating and devoting yourself to other people. No? Most of the time, although sinabi naman na siya ng mga gurus and mga religion, one of the causes ng ating disturbance ay yung nasosobrahan tayo ng pay attention sa self. Minsan malaking tulong na ine-expose natin yung sarili natin sa labas para makita natin kung gaano kalaki yung mundo at kung gaano ka-exciting mag-integrate. It has its fair share of joy and pains at the same time. And I think kailangan mong pagdaanan yun bilang tao. So yun, in the end, huwag kayo matakot, pasok kayo sa workplace, explore, enjoy, and as much as possible, be proactive sa yung personal growth and development.
ako naman, yung trabaho, parte siya ng buhay, diba? It's part of life. And sabi nga ni Sir Dom, tanggapin natin na kailangan talaga natin magtrabaho. I mean, it's something that can give us financial compensation na kailangan din natin to be motivated para magawa yung mga hobbies na kailangan natin. Kasi wala naman libre sa mundo eh. Pero siguro, lalo na sa mga bagong papasok sa workforce, hindi nyo kailangan magmadali. Kung ngayon, ito yung trabaho nyo, tapos ito yung nakuha nyo, and kailangan nyo na rin yung trabaho, wala na rin time masyado maghintay, okay lang yan. Meron namang, at some point, mag-fall into place naman lahat ng mga kailangan mangyari para ma-achieve mo yung goals mo. And if for this particular point in time, your goal is to just be and maintain this, and ito na yung gusto kong gawin, okay lang din yan. Wala namang standard pace ang buhay, wala namang goal na dapat lahat ng tao ito yung ma-achieve. At the end of the day, if work is able to provide you with your needs and some of your wants, tapos you as a person, you maintain your well-being, tapos walang naaapektuhan ng trabaho mo, then okay na yon. Walang perpektong trabaho eh. I think minsan iniisip natin may perpektong trabaho, pero ang totoo wala talaga. So it's up to us to find work that will best fit us. So part of that is knowing who we are, what we need, what we want. If we have goals, ano yung goals na yon, and kung ano yung mga pwede nating steps na gawin and kunin para ma-achieve yun. So if that work is part of a stepping stone, then go. Kung hindi, pero nagpo-provide siya ng financial compensation, edi okay pa rin. Yun. So, walang tama o mali. Minsan, kailangan lang natin gawin.
Okay. Wow, grabe. That was a very concise summary po ng mga napag-usapan natin today. So thank you so much, Doc Mel and Sir Dom, for today. We hope you're walking away with fresh ideas and renewed sense of confidence for what lies ahead. So here's to thriving and not just surviving. Let's tackle adulthood together. So see you in our next episode, and Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you!
Thank you for watching A Gen Z's Guide to Earth, Wellness, Opportunities, Relationships, Transitions, and Health. This has been Wellness, Keeping Your Cool. Once again, we would like to thank our sponsors. The Mu Sigma Phi Foundation, Motivo Philippines, Slimmers World Face and Skin Clinic, Tony and Jackie Beauty Salon Corporation, and our official partners, the Mu Sigma Phi Fraternity, WhenInManila.com, Monster RX 93.1, and Our Awesome Planet. Be one of the first 175 lucky viewers and grab the chance to win our amazing prizes. You could score any of the following: 1,200 pesos worth of Prime Cara Protein Treatment voucher from Tony and Jackie, or 1,500 pesos worth of Slimmers World Face and Skin Clinic voucher, or 500 pesos discount with no minimum spend from Motivo Philippines. Please ensure your details are correct. All you have to do is scan the QR code on screen to fill up our attendance form to get a chance to win our amazing vouchers. The links are in the description boxes and chat boxes of our official YouTube channel. This form will remain open until 2 hours after the video has been posted. We will also like to invite you to download the Immunity mobile app. It's a user-friendly, physician-guided health mobile app which features immunization record and tracker, information atlas on all vaccines available in the Philippines, and frequently asked questions on myths and vaccinations. It is currently available for free on Google Play Store and Apple App Store. Additionally, we have installed a set of immunity booster stickers on Viber and Telegram for your use when communicating with your loved ones through the aforementioned platforms. You may download them at tinyurl.com/immunityviber and tinyurl.com/immunityviber2 for Viber, and at tinyurl.com/immunity-tg for Telegram. For more details and updates, please check our Facebook page at facebook.com/MuWebinars and Instagram at WhenThereIsMu. You may also email us at mewebinars2425@gmail.com.